Hi guys, and welcome to the CYC Dream Build series. This is the first Dream Build video that we're going to do, and in this series we'll be showing you a few epic e-bikes that can be put together using the CYC mid-drive e-bike conversion kits. We'll be covering aspects of the bike itself along with the conversion kit used, but also share the component list for your reference as well as the build cost at the end, so stay tuned. Our first video in this series is fitting the Photon and the A series battery pack onto a 2023 model Scott Spark. The Scott Spark is a celebrated cross-country frame with a single pivot rear suspension design, 29-inch with 120mm front and rear suspension. For converting it to an e-bike, the steep down tube allows you to tilt the motor upwards, making minimal impact on the ground clearance. If making a sleek, clean e-bike is also your thing, then the internal routing will certainly appeal to you. With a lot of space inside the triangle, battery fitment is simple, and all aspects considered, you really can't go wrong choosing a Scott Spark for an e-bike conversion like this. The headset on the Scott Spark is part of a unique design. Not only did they design the frame to have internal routing, like most modern frames, but they also designed it so that the routing goes through the headset instead of the top tube. This adds an extra layer of protection from the cables getting snagged, but it also helps keep the bike aesthetically pleasing. This is particularly true for e-bike builds where you have extra peripheral cables in the cockpit. To get the CYC wiring harness and peripheral cables routed through the frame, we use the internal routing kit from Park Tool. This kit includes a variety of wire cables that have a metal end cap attached to them, allowing us to guide it through with a magnet. To continue with the sleek profile of this build, we used the minimalist style CYC SW102 display. Sacrificing no functionality, this option lets the rider focus more on the ride than on the stats. When connecting the display and other peripherals, there are arrows on both the male and female side to help you line up the pins properly. We also decided to use the 1-to-1 wiring harness, which means that this setup has no throttle. It ties into this build and matches the configuration of most premium integrated manufactured e-mountain bikes on the market. In general, zip ties are used to manipulate the cables into the desired position. But here we were able to use the cable wrap that came with the bike. Spec'd for long rides, we went with the A52 battery. With a steep down tube and ample space in the triangle, we had the choice of installing the battery below the down tube as well. Since the water bottle cage mounts were already on the frame, we decided to mount the battery inside the triangle instead. The battery pack is designed to mount onto the water bottle cage mounts. The battery's mount has holes slotted specifically for this reason. We also use Loctite to secure the bolts, since you don't want anything getting loose from the vibrations while riding. The A52 is a 520 watt-hour pack, which weighs in at 3.7 kilograms or 8 pounds, making it the heaviest part of the e-bike components. Our inspiration for this build was to create a premium, factory-built comparable e-bike, so the Photon motor was the ideal choice here. The motor system itself weighs only 3.5 kilograms or 7.7 pounds, making the total weight added to the Spark 7.2 kilograms or 15.8 pounds. It's a BB92 bottom bracket on the frame, so we had to use the press-fit bottom bracket removal tools to get the job done. We then used the BB92 to BSA adapter cups that came with the kit and slotted in the Photon from the drive side. We used the spindle to align the threads on the left BB cup, which significantly reduces your risk of cross-threading. It's also very good to use an aluminium or copper-based anti-seize grease on the bottom bracket cup to prevent galvanization. The Spark is a cross-country focused bike, which generally has a higher average speed than other technical or enduro-focused frames, so we went with the 38 teeth option, allowing you to maintain a more comfortable cadence. We had to modify the rear suspension cover to ensure that the motor cables can sit flush against the frame and provide access to the internally routed cables. We finished off the bike by changing the grips to match the Wicked Wheel tires and gave everything a good clean. The bike that was used was a 2023 model Scott Spark, and we were able to get the bike at a special price of $2,200. The motor system used was the CYC Photon with a default firmware rated at 750 watts. It also had the 38-teeth chainring option and the SW102 display. This came in at $950. The battery pack we used was the A52 version at around $490. If we wanted to get a bit of extra capacity out of it, we could have gone for the A52L pack at $640. The installation labor was $350, and the extra bike components, like the grips, came in at a total of $25. This made the total price of the bike $4,015. The other components on the bike include the Schwalbe Wicked Wheel tires, 29 front and rear. We also used a 12-speed Shimano Dior, which came with the bike. The brakes and the calipers were also Shimano, and we used the RockShox Duty Silver 120mm travel for the Ford. The rear shock was then the X Fusion Nude 5. Well guys, that's it for our first video in this Dream Build series where we used the Photon and the A52 battery pack. If you guys want to find out any more of the specs of the motor system or the battery packs used, please feel free to visit our website at www.cycmotor.com. See you in the next one.